Alright, so I've never played a Monster Hunter game before, but with Monster Hunter Wilds coming in hot, I figured why not dive in head first and see what all the hype is about.
Hey, congrats on another job well done. The heat was on, but you were blazing.
First things first, let's make sure I don't look like an absolute disaster. As with most of my playthroughs, I try to recreate my wife in-game. I may look like a toad, but she's definitely a beautiful woman. The game's character creator is incredible and allows you to merge looks rather than a face preset that looks like a dozen other NPCs. I love a strong narrative in my RPGs, and the idea of hunting creatures without a compelling reason never really appealed to me. Plus, I'd always heard that Monster Hunter wasn't exactly known for its storytelling. After completing the main campaign, I can confirm the story isn't the game's strongest aspect. However, there's just enough narrative to keep me engaged while I enjoy the thrill of the hunt. Much like the Witcher series, if you take the time to study a creature's strengths and weaknesses, you can craft creative strategies to bring it down, making each hunt feel like a tactical puzzle rather than just mindless combat. At first, I was overwhelmed by the sheer variety of weapons the game throws at you. Since I ditched my usual mouse and keyboard setup for a controller, I steered clear of ranged weapons and opted for a more up-close and personal playstyle. A lot of modern games push players toward discovering a single meta build, but Monster Hunter Wilds seems to offer enough flexibility that you're free to experiment without feeling heavily rewarded or punished for your preferred approach. One of the biggest adjustments for me was the absence of a lock-on feature and visible health bars for monsters. Monster Hunter Wilds pushes you to be more deliberate with your attacks, relying on the creature's behavior and movement to strategize your approach. You can set a focus, which highlights wounded areas, giving you a chance to exploit those weaknesses, but success still depends on reading the monster and adapting in real time. One of the first adjustments I made after struggling for a bit was zooming the camera all the way out. With how massive these monsters are, having a wider view makes it much easier to track their movements and react accordingly, reducing some of the frustration in tougher fights. I also set the focus mode to enabled, keeping it active until manually turned off. This freed up my fingers from constantly holding the focus button, making it much easier to coordinate my attacks and dodges without feeling overwhelmed. Monster Hunter Wilds is unlike any game I've ever played, thanks to its vast array of weapons, massive boss encounters, co-op missions, and stunning environments. While the main campaign is only around 20 hours long, each monster battle felt like an epic showdown, lasting anywhere from 8 to 15 minutes. I fought in deserts, forests, swamps, volcanic zones, and frozen biomes, each offering its own unique challenges. I probably spent way too much time fishing and tinkering with upgrades and trinkets. But the deeper I dove into the game, the more questions I had, and the more there was to explore. The game makes it clear that while the main story may have concluded, there's plenty more to come. If future content is anything like the base game, Monster Hunter Wilds is set to have a long shelf life, delivering unforgettable moments for years. If you're on the fence about trying it, take it from someone who had never played a Monster Hunter game before. This one starts off exciting and features a learning curve that feels well-paced and rewarding. That said, the game isn't as open world as it initially seems. If you follow the main story, it's very much on rails, often guiding you from one area to the next through cutscenes, sometimes preventing you from gathering a resource just a few steps away. My advice: let the game tell its story. When it forces you to move at its pace, take a moment to sit back and soak it in. Otherwise, you might find yourself frustrated, like I often was, when you can't wander off to investigate that hidden trail behind a waterfall or some other intriguing distraction. I still have a lot to learn and explore in the Monster Hunter universe, and I'd love to hear from you. If you have any tips or advice for a rookie hunter like me, drop them in the comments. I would definitely appreciate the help. If the video is something you liked, then please give it a like, and subs are always welcome and free in YouTube and help our small channel in enormous ways. If you like this video, maybe you'll like this one as well. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a great day.